Hey, what is going on, guys? This video today is going to be a discussion about the cube, which has recently magically appeared inside of Fortnite. It all started a few days ago when it was spawned onto the map by a magical burst of lightning, and the purpose of the cube has quickly turned into one of the biggest mysteries in all of gaming. Some people believe the cube is going to destroy towns, some people believe it's going to create towns, and trust me when I say the theories get a lot crazier than that. This isn't the first time we've seen a major in-game event from Epic inside of Fortnite, but this one is definitely the coolest. I'm going to be going over all of the relevant information involving what is known about the cube and everything that's happened with it so far, and after that we'll go over some of the most popular and coolest theories that will explain the cube's purpose and what it all potentially means for Season 6 of Fortnite. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright guys, so the cube initially started moving on August 25th from right around Paradise Palms. I'll throw on the screen right now an image posted by @SiloXLeaks on Twitter, which has mapped out the exact movement of the cube up to this point, separated by date. After 5 days of movement, the cube finally settled just outside of Fatal Fields and created some kind of odd gravitational zone around it. If you went inside the area surrounding the cube, you would basically feel all the effects of a hop rock from Season 4. Many people actually speculated that this would be the final resting spot of the cube, but if you paid attention to the leaked files, which were data mined from patch 5.3, it was pretty obvious that this would not be the case. As you can see in the files, there's a file for cube move to 1, cube rune 1, cube move to 2, cube rune 2, and that continues all the way from 1 to 7. This means that what you saw over the last few days was basically the stage cube move to 1, and yesterday when the cube was not moving at all was stage rune 1. This is all but confirmed now due to the fact that after about 24 hours of resting, the cube has finally begun to move again. And rune number 1, which is basically just an odd square shaped pattern, has been printed into the ground under where the cube was resting. Another interesting twist in all of this is that now, so far, the cube is moving at double the speed. In stage move to 1, the cube moved around every hour and 40 minutes. So far in stage move to 2, it has instead taken roughly 50 minutes per movement, so almost exactly half the time, which means double the speed. So if you had not heard of or not paid attention to the cube until now, that's a pretty good summary of what has happened since it was spawned onto the map. Now let's get into what exactly this all means for the future of Fortnite, and specifically the end of Season 5 and beginning of Season 6. First off, let's cover why I'm so convinced that this cube is going to be so important to what happens in Season 6 of Fortnite. As I just mentioned, the stage Move to 1 and Rune 1 took roughly 4 to 5 days to complete. That means that if all the other stages take around the same amount of time, we should be done with the final stage, Rune 7, in somewhere between 20 to 30 days. And when it's all said and done, it should also leave us with a total of 7 different runes printed on 7 different parts of the map. This time frame lines up almost perfectly with the end of Season 5 and beginning of Season 6, which is currently slated for September 25th. So much so that there's really no possible way that it wasn't intentional by Epic. Now, I did also say that so far stage move to 2 is happening at twice the speed of stage move to 1, so it is possible that it ends up being even less than the 20-day estimate. However, there are some other stages included in the leaked files that I'll get into in a bit that could easily make up the extra time difference if stage 7 were to end on, say, September 18th, so 7 days before the start of Season 6. Now it's time to discuss the most popular theory regarding the impact that the cube will have on the map, and that is the theory that it will destroy or replace Loot Lake. First off, along with the Move 1 to 7 and Rune 1 to 7 files, there contains 2 other ones which are named Cube Move to Lake and Cube Lake. Obviously, there are a bunch of different lakes on the Fortnite map, and this could possibly be referring to any of them, but Loot Lake is definitely the most prominent and is the first piece of evidence which points to Loot Lake as a likely target for the cube. The next part of this theory goes all the way back to the rocket launch from Season 4, which was another awesome in-game event, by the way. When the rocket launched, it interacted with 5 different points of interest on the map. First off, the rocket's thruster landed inside of Anarchy Acres. In Season 5, Anarchy was totally destroyed and replaced with Lazy Links. Then the rocket traveled to Tilted Towers, and although Tilted wasn't totally replaced, we've seen that one pallet building in the middle of the town be remodeled multiple times throughout the season. Next, the rocket appeared over Moisty Mire, which was obviously destroyed and replaced by Paradise Palms, where all of this originated from, in the beginning of Season 5. The rocket then teleported to the huge hill in between Greasy and Snobby, which was ultimately turned into a Viking shipwreck point of interest also at the beginning of Season 5. And then finally, the rocket appeared again at Loot Lake, where it blasted into the sky, ending the event. As you can see, all of the first 4 towns/points of interest were either completely changed or remodeled in some way during the duration of Season 5. That is, except for Loot Lake, which has stayed the same all throughout the season. I think that 4 out of 5 is way too much for it to be a coincidence, and even though Loot Lake may have survived Season 5, it would make a ton of sense for it to be either totally replaced or heavily altered right at the beginning of Season 6. The next piece of evidence that points to the cube's final destination being Loot Lake revolves around their location in reference to each other at the moment. In Stage 1 of the cube's movement, it moved from the outskirts of Paradise Palms to the outskirts of Fatal Fields. Although there's no exact measurement I could possibly apply to back this up, eyeballing it, it seems like Loot Lake is basically the perfect distance away to where 6 more movement stages of around the same length would put the cube in the general area of Loot Lake. Obviously, the direction and distance traveled of each movement stage could change like the speed already has, but just another piece of evidence to add on top of it all that points towards Loot Lake. The last piece of this theory involves something which happened very early in Season 5. For at least a few days, an odd pyramid-like structure was seen in Loot Lake looking like it was about to emerge from the water. Eventually, the structure was removed from the game, and Epic labeled it some kind of a quote-unquote graphical glitch, but many people believe that this was just a cover-up due to the fact that nobody has ever really seen a graphical glitch like that before inside of Fortnite, or in any other video game for that matter. And although this is just wild speculation and pretty much just a total shot in the dark by me, I could really see Epic doing some kind of a Lost City of Atlantis themed town if they were to replace Loot Lake, and the cube causing a pyramid to emerge out of the water would be a pretty awesome way to kick that off and transition to Season 6. Although I definitely believe that Loot Lake is without a doubt the most likely final destination of the cube, and the destination that it's most likely to heavily affect, I also want to share a part of another theory I saw on Twitter by the user FNBRLeaks, who runs a really awesome Twitter which you guys should definitely follow, link in the description below. FNBRLeaks theorized that another potential town that could be destroyed or totally changed by the cube is Salty Springs, and he has 2 really interesting reasons for why he believes that. First off, when lightning was striking onto the map in anticipation of the cube being spawned, it was mainly striking one spot right outside of Paradise Palms. But for some reason, a singular lightning strike hit the entrance of Salty Springs at some random point throughout the day. Don't believe me? Well, I'll link you a clip down in the description below of it basically happening right in the middle of Ninja streaming, and him and his partner were like totally freaked out by it. They were like, oh my god, is the lightning striking everywhere now? But it was basically just one specific part inside of Salty, which makes really no sense unless Salty is also going to be affected by the cube in some way. His next piece of evidence doesn't even involve the cube directly, but it's something super interesting that I never knew before. He uploaded a picture which points out that every single stonehead on the map, which by the way was another new addition to Season 5, is facing pretty much directly towards Salty Springs. Like I said, not even related to the cube, but I think it's super unlikely that this is just a coincidence and points towards something happening to Salty in Season 6. So even though I'm definitely on, hashtag Team Loot Lake being destroyed, I think that was another really cool theory that you guys should definitely know about. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave me a comment down in the comment section below. What do you guys want the cube to either destroy or create? It could be a new point of interest or just anything you would like to see changed on the map at all. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.